Welcome, everyone. I'm Rabbi Laura Duhan Kaplan, Dean of Aleph Ordination Program, the seminary ordaining Jewish clergy. And I'm here today with my colleague and friend, Reverend Elder John Snow of the Stoney Nakoda Nation. Treaty 8, Alberta, Canada, if you wish to locate it on a contemporary map. John, I wonder if you could start by introducing yourself and your lineage and leading us in some kind of prayer.
Thank you, Rabbi. I've worked many years with you, and I always look forward to our interaction. I come from a long line of leadership from the Stoney Nakoda. We signed Treaty 7 in 1877, and my ancestor signed a treaty, a covenant. And so we carry on the leadership today, and we also interact and talk to people about our cultural teachings, about our understanding of life. And so I'm happy to be here to open a word of prayer. I will sing a song that comes from my people. Adewa katanga eai. Adewa katanga eai. Adewa katang osima ngao omangya waka ibeno waka ibno eyakiyab osiganoka isnise ibne waka oshimanga osiganoka omangya osiganoka chenga onchegi taunti Wanchabot Tachagawaka Wango Wanchakias Wachinis Nari Gitiabi Chien Nanga is Nango Ichiane Ichia. Amen. Thank you for allowing me to share my opening prayer.
Reverend John, will you translate the words for us?
This song said, I am calling on the Creator, Ade Waka Tanga. That's our word for the Creator. Ade Waka Tanga, Oshimangao, have pity on me. O Mangya, help me. O Mangya, help me. Waka Ibino, the Creator comes forward. The Creator comes forward. This is a blessing prayer we sing in our language, and we use this in our ceremony. So I share that with you today to share with your students. Thank you.
Thank you, and we're honored by that sharing. And what a beautiful prayer that is, invoking the presence and support of the divine. Could you tell us a little bit about the Stony Nakoda and the beautiful mountainous land that is home?
We live in a mountain country, and similar to the Hebrew people, we have a mountain where we can talk to the Creator. We go there for fasting. We go there for prayer. We go there for vision quest. You've seen the mountain and you traveled with me. That is Mount Yamnaska. That's one of our holy places. It is our Mount Sinai, our Mount Zion. This is where we locate our Creator in our land. And we sprang forth from the land. Many narratives say we came from China or Siberia, but our people, we have our own creation story here in this land in what they call Ina Makoche, Mother Earth. We sprang forth, and we know there are other people with other creation stories. We aren't the only one. There are many because we believe the Creator loves diversity. He loves different people, different things, different perspectives. So this is part of our understanding where we come from.
Speaking of difference and diversity, I know that you yourself inhabit many different identities and many different spaces. You're a scientist, you're also a theologian, you're indigenous, you're also an ordained Christian minister in the United Church, and you have worked with people who don't always see difference so positively. Could you tell us a little bit about how, in the face of so many harms perpetrated by Christian institutions against Indigenous peoples in our region, can you tell us why it is that you choose to continue to work within the church?
Thank you for the question. Our elders would say we are guided to work with Creator. And if I think about it, 150 years ago, the missionaries came to our part of North America and they came with the word, the gospel, and their talk and their narrative was to be loving, to be forgiving, to be kind, and to befriend one another. And we accepted that. The people that came originally were from John and Charles Wesley Methodist teaching. That is the people we understood and accepted their way of sharing the gospel. You're right, we did suffer, and even though we suffer, we're taught forgiveness and we're also taught to listen to other perspectives. We don't know everything. This is what the elder would say. You need to respect other people. They are the Creator's people. They deserve your acknowledgement, your respect. They deserve what you have to offer. For us, we shared our food, our land, our way of life. And even though we have suffered, we look beyond that. We look to a bigger uh, way of living that is universal, that we are all one, whether we are human, animal, plant, water, air, wind, fire. This is a Stony Nakota teaching. The philosophy is called Wazian Inchanabi. Wazian Inchanabi. That means we are all equal in the eyes of the Creator. I am not above the rock. I am not above the animal. I am not to subdue the land. We are here to share of ourselves. Our original measure of success is not what have I accumulated. No, our measure of success is what service have I rendered to my fellow beings. It could be the land, the animal, the plant, the tree, Mother Earth, Ina Makoche. We are taught we are all equal. These are the teachings that our people continue to try to advocate in this time of climate change, of change in weather, of diminishing the earth. We have teachings that need to be shared before it is too late. So, this is part of my purpose. I speak to your people, but I speak to many. We've gone and worked with the synagogue here in Calgary. We've worked with Rabbi Glickman, and we've done important reconciliation dialogue. We've also worked with the Muslim community, the imams that work with raising charity to help underprivileged. Many of my people struggle, and one of the main charities that helps us are the Muslim outreach. They come to connect with us, and we accept all people because we believe in diversity, that the Creator loves diversity.
I love how you so clearly put forward a universalistic philosophy or theology that we are all, if not the same, connected in the eyes of the Creator. And then you live into that by working with so many different kinds of people, offering teachings and other kinds of help, and then accepting teachings and other kinds of help, right? On that assumption that there is sort of a great, I was going to say circle, but a great web of learning that's going on between the creatures. I think that's just a beautiful vision that integrates a way of thinking and believing and also a way of living. And speaking of the land, I just want to say that one of the things that I greatly enjoyed working with you on was our series for the Sierra Club of British Columbia about animals and plants and landscapes in Hebrew Bible as they relate to or as they give us insight into contemporary issues and activist movements around the environment in Canada today. So I really appreciated our dialogue around that and the perspectives that you offered about the different kinds of knowledge and wisdom that go into environmental awareness. And one of the places that our thought comes together is that we both really, really love the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. And I wonder if you might say a little bit about some of the connections that you see between Indigenous thought and experience and Hebrew Bible. I know there are connections in story, connections in ceremony, and other things that you might see.
Thank you. As I have studied in many different fields, like you said, one of the areas was to work with my elders, to work with elders from other parts of our cultural mosaic. And when we look at the reading of the Hebrew Bible, I often close my eyes and I can hear the voices of my elders. I can hear how they talk to me over the millennia. They'll tell us there are things we need to be aware of, things that we need to know about ourselves and about the earth and how to make it right because we are human and we make mistake. So how do we atone for that? And there is very similar to the Hebrew people. They talk about a time of atonement and remembering and looking at what has been taught over the ages. We have that in different parts of our year. We have feasts that we celebrate and commemorate and remember memorials of lost loved ones that are no longer with us. If you think of in South America, the Day of the Dead, it's combined with Catholic ritual in Mexico, but they don't become any less Catholic or any less indigenous. They combine both teachings. This is what we try to do. And as a minister, I give the sacraments. I participate in baptism and coming to the common table. But at the same time, I carry a pipe, and that pipe carries our ceremony into the sweat lodge, into the sun dance, and I am entrusted with those teachings. I hold those beside Christianity, and one complements the other. I found the more I study, the less I understand, and the more room I have to grow. So when I was in Israel, I felt that growth. When I went to, to the Wailing Wall, when I was in Bethlehem, when I was at the Sea of Galilee. For me, the Bible comes alive in that holy land. And I too have a holy land that is here. Both are special. Both are important. Both need our respect, our remembrance. That is the teachings of our people.
Yeah, again, I love the way that you put that and the way that you can draw on so many sources, that they are all different sources of wisdom. And there might be a Stony Nakota source here, and a Christian source here, and a Jewish source here. And yet you stand firmly in the Stony Nakota circle and also in the center, drawing on all of those things, right, for you to be who you are spiritually and culturally and ethically and politically. So that is really a beautiful statement of drawing on world wisdoms to understand and do what's important right now. And I particularly appreciate some of the things that you singled out about the biblical wisdom, that the way the stories are rooted in a particular land. And there's a vision of life that grows out of the land. And you can see that with the featured herbal medicines in Hebrew Bible, the animals that feature in the stories and the ones that interact with the human beings. Um, is life in a particular land, and that out of that life on the land come particular seasonal ceremonies that root people in land and community and just tie feeling connection with the sacred to those particular places. And the other thing that you highlighted was the importance of drawing on ancestral wisdom and really feeling ourselves part of a lineage that goes back and back and back all the way to our creation stories. So I really appreciate those parallels that you drew. Um, are there
What
other?
I really appreciated from your classes is your treatment of Genesis. It, it was powerful. how, uh, how shall I say, when you said in a beginning, by way of a beginning, that is an inclusive way to present a open door to understanding and making room for other creation stories. This was powerful because I loved it. When the missionaries came, they didn't come like that. They came with their own paradigm. If I think of the King James, they come with the interpretation in the beginning, in the one and only beginning of the King James Version. Yet when they took that, it was a Hebrew understanding that there are other beginnings, and that is to be respected. The King James misses that, and so I learn, and I'm more accepting of the Judeo-Christian teachings. It helps my ministry. It helps my dialogue. It helps my own philosophy.
Thank you for saying all of those things. And it is true that a good and accurate translation of the opening few words of Genesis, Bereshit bara Elohim, is either by way of beginning God created or in a beginning God created, which leaves room for multiple worlds, multiple beginnings, and, as you are saying, multiple stories. Right? There are different ways that we might tell the story of the beginning or our beginnings, depending on where we are and how our life has evolved in that place. So thank you for mentioning that. And I will say that one of the things that I learned from you about the book of Genesis is the centrality of the stories of treaty. That Abraham and Sarah enter the land, and one of the first things they do is they start making treaties with the people that they meet. They do not come as invaders. They do not come to claim plots of land. They come to find their way into relationship with people. And I think that's a very important teaching about how to be together.
I think it's a paradigm shift to understand that Hebrew Bible and treaty and covenant. I think that's how our native people considered the treaty to be a covenant. And I know Abraham has a covenant made to their descendants, blessings and land, the Abrahamic covenant. We too see that in our treaty, we have land, we have provisions, and we have descendants. There's so many similarities. It's hauntingly familiar.
And I will point out one other similarity, since you and Indigenous people of many nations talk about walking in the right way on the land, right? The Hebrew Bible covenant is to occupy, sorry, the Hebrew Bible covenant requires of people who sign on to walk in the land in a good way. And it's very clearly specified what the ways of right relationship are.
And as if to add to that, the Creator sends messengers. It may be a divine messenger, it could be angelic, it could be an animal, it may be a tree, a mountain. These are what we seek in our vision, to be open to an interpretation that will transform our thinking, our way of being, and challenge paradigms that we seem to get stuck in. So it's a constant journey, constant pilgrimage, a constant yearning to seek wisdom. It comes in many forms, and the concept of wisdom is quite large. It's not a person, it's something much bigger, and we have trouble grasping those things. But it's important to search and hear the wisdom of others. There we will find our own path, our own illumination. That's the hope.
Amen. And I think that with your blessing to us and your charge to us to seek in the way of wisdom for all our days, I think that's a very good place to end. Thank you, Reverend Elder John, for your wisdom and your inspiration and your presence.
Thank you.